Laws appear, regulations shift, and we often just see the final result. But behind the scenes, there's a constant, powerful conversation happening, a multi-billion-dollar effort to influence every decision made in the halls of power. This is the world of lobbying. At its core, lobbying is the act of trying to persuade government officials. The name itself comes from the physical lobbies of legislative buildings, where advocates would wait to catch a word with lawmakers. But today, it's far more than a casual chat. It's a massive, professional industry. Just how massive? By July of this year alone, total lobbying spending in the U.S. rocketed past $2.5 billion. That's a torrent of money aimed at shaping policy, and it's growing every year. So who is spending all this money? You'd probably guess the big industries, and you'd be right, but the scale is staggering. In the last quarter, Meta spent nearly $6 million.
Amazon and Google were right behind, spending millions to weigh in on everything from cloud computing to cybersecurity. And it's not just the established giants. For the first time, emerging AI firms like Anthropic and NVIDIA have crossed the $1 million mark. As new technologies raise new questions, the money follows, ensuring those companies have a seat at the table. And their tactics are getting more sophisticated. Take Google's recent fight against a California privacy bill. Instead of a public declaration, they quietly mobilized small business owners to protest the bill, framing it as a threat to their livelihood. It's a powerful strategy, creating the appearance of a grassroots movement to serve a corporate interest. Now, all of this might sound like a recipe for corruption, and that's exactly why regulations exist. The Lobbying Disclosure Act of 1995 was the first major step forcing lobbyists to register and report who they work for and how much they spend. Later, the Honest Leadership and Open Government Act tightened the rules, creating cooling-off periods to slow down the revolving door, that phenomenon where public officials leave their jobs and immediately become lobbyists. But the question remains, how much influence can money really buy? The data suggests quite a lot. Studies show that when lobbying is one-sided, it can dramatically shift a bill's chances. Bills with only favorable lobbying are 11% more likely to pass. Those facing only opposition are 26% less likely to see the light of day.
Just look at the pharmaceutical industry. Between 1999 and 2018, they spent $4.7 billion on lobbying. That investment is widely seen as connected to favorable outcomes, like legislation that increased government spending on prescription drugs. This brings us to the central tension of lobbying. In the United States, it's considered a form of free speech, protected by the First Amendment. It allows different groups, from corporations to nonprofits, to make their case. But it's a conversation where some voices are amplified by millions of dollars, while others struggle to be heard. A large corporation can afford a team of professionals for direct, face-to-face meetings with lawmakers. A nonprofit, bound by a tight budget, often has to rely on mobilizing volunteers and public support. The information about who is spending what is publicly available, thanks to those disclosure laws. You can go to websites like Open Secrets and see the numbers for yourself. And those numbers tell a story about power and influence. It raises fundamental questions. How do we ensure fairness? How do we balance the interests of the wealthy and well-connected with the needs of everyone else? Understanding lobbying isn't just about understanding a political process. It's about understanding who gets to shape the world we all live in.